guys, welcome back. This is Deepika from MyTutorialRack.com, and in this tutorial we are going to upload records into our medical appointment object. So currently if I go back to my object here, medical appointments, you can see there are 0 items in this. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this data import wizard, and I'm going to load the data into this medical appointments, and then I can make some tweaks to that data. So the first thing is, let's go ahead and take a look at the Excel sheet. So this is the Excel sheet that I've created, and as you can see here, the Excel sheet has columns like patient ID, the gender, schedule day, appointment day, age, neighborhood he lives in, hypertension, does he have hypertension, does he have diabetes, does he have alcoholism issues, handicap, SMS is sent to him or not, did he receive the SMS, and also no show, was he a no show for previous of his appointments, or did he show up for his appointments. Okay, so as you can see here, patient IDs, I have added unique patient IDs, but these patient IDs are repetitive, means a patient is going to have one ID, right? So based on that, it can either be repetitive twice, because a patient goes to the doctor multiple times, he might have follow-ups. Okay, then gender, was he a female or a male, and schedule day represents when the appointment is actually, and appointment day is when that appointment was made. Then the age factor, then we have neighborhood, which neighborhood does he live in, then does he have any of these condition, hypertension, diabetes, alcoholism, handicap, does he have any of these condition, and then the no-show. So now among all these columns, certain columns will play a very important role in determining or predicting will the patient be a no-show or not. One of the column is no-show itself, based on his previous history, based on his previous appointments, was he more of a no-show or did he showed up to that appointment. So no-show plays a very important role and has more weightage compared to other fields, the previous history of that patient. Similarly, appointment, when was the appointment made? Let's say you call the doctor today and the appointment was made for tomorrow, then the likelihood of the patient coming to the doctor will be more, because he just booked the appointment, it is fresh in his memory. But sometimes if the appointment is booked way in advance, let's say 4 weeks from today, then likelihood of the patient canceling the appointment is going to be more, because either something came up or he didn't think it is an important appointment. But if he has booked the appointment a day before, and then that's the probability of him showing up to the clinic are more. Then schedule day is when the actual appointment is. Okay, is it falling on a holiday, is it Thanksgiving time, or whatever is it? So that will also determine, or will be play a factor in determining or predicting the no-show probability. So now this is the sheet we have. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to use Salesforce Inspector. I have a lot of videos on Salesforce Inspector, how to install it. So if you don't have, it's just an extension you can add to through your web browser, and this is how we are going to be using. So we'll use the data import feature here, and it is which objects that we are trying to insert. We are trying to insert into medical appointment object. So you can see here, this is the object, and then this is my sheet. So here you can upload your sheet here. So you can see here, this is the complete sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it. They have total of about 3,000 records. Okay, so this is what I have. Control C, and then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do Control V, and this is the records. Now we have to do field mapping. So here, patient ID, gender is gender, schedule day is this one, appointment day is this field, age is this field. These are the columns that field mapping we are doing. Neighborhood is this one, hypertension, diabetes. You have to select the columns mapping to this sheet. Okay, so in the sheet you have these columns. Now these columns map to what? These column maps to these fields of our Salesforce object, no show probability, and let's say what, there's a field called no show. Okay, so that's your field. So now this mapping is correct. Now we have mapped. Patient ID is basically, this is the field name on the object. Gender is, this is the field name on the object. Then schedule day, this is the _ C. So we have mapped it, and now I'm going to go ahead and import it. Let's see how many records will be successfully imported, or if there is any issues. Okay, so you can see here, few of them failed. So we have 1,000 of those records, 1,200 failed. So we got a total of about 2,000 were succeeded, and we failed about 1,200. Okay, which is fine. That's not a problem. Let's retry them and see if it's possible to try them. Okay, so we are going to retry a few of them. So now you can see here the same, it's failing, which is fine. We don't have to worry about it. And then you can see here actions. Some of them were actions. And then let's see what if they're errors. Okay. So there were 2 is not valid for Boolean value. Okay, so then we were giving a value of 2 for certain things. So we have about 2000 records were successfully inserted, and we will ignore the ones which are failed because we have good enough data. Okay, so now if I go back to my object here, so if I go back to the medical appointments object, so let's go over to here. And then when I go over here, you can see if their records have been loaded or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. And you can see here you have about 50 plus items, means the records have been loaded. And if you want to test it, you can do a query here and you can see how many records have been inserted. Okay, so select ID from medical appointment, and you can see here we have total of about 1998 records. So 2000 records are there. And if you want to display other columns, we are going to add in this layout itself. So appointment ID plays an important role. Then we're gonna have gender plays a role. Then we're gonna have a neighborhood where he lives in. Then we have we don't have the first name, last name. Patient ID is there, and then schedule day. Okay, schedule day, and then we have also the appointment day. So these are certain columns that are important, and this is how the order looks like. Okay, appointment ID, gender, name, patient ID, and schedule day and appointment day. Okay, so now what we're going to do is another field that is important is the no-show field itself, right? So we have no-show, that's another one. And let me go ahead and move the patient ID on the top, appointment ID first, let's say, and then patient ID, and then we can have a no-show here. Okay, so this is what these are the fields that we are going to be displaying here. So majority of them you can see here is no, some of them are yes. Okay, so this is the data. Now let's change or add few more here. So let's say we copy this patient ID and we will create some more recent records. Okay, so let's say the age we don't have to give, appointment day is today we made it, and gender is female, let's say. Neighborhood we don't have to worry about it. No show, we're not going to give no show on this one, right? Because this is where we want to predict, these are the records for which we want to predict the no show or yes. Okay, because that's what we are doing, right? If you already say if it's a no show, then what are we predicting? We're predicting nothing. So no show, I'm going to leave it as it is. This is my patient ID, and schedule day, I'm going to book an appointment for tomorrow around what time? Let's say 11:45, and that is it. So these are certain records I'm going to give. If I want to give the neighborhood, I'm going to give it as Dallas and save. So we have created one more record here. And you can see this is we have said no show, we haven't put any value. Similarly, we are going to add few more of these records, and these are the records for which we want to predict. Okay, so we have new here, and then we're going to say the ID would be, let's say, again we're going to say male. Okay, neighborhood we'll call it Irving. No show, we are not going to give any no show. Patient ID would be 234 559. Okay, 559 is the ID. Schedule day, when the appointment is, let's say the appointment is on 24th, and let's say the appointment time is 11 o'clock, and that's it. And we are not putting the value for no show here. You can see here no show is none. We are going to predict it. Okay, so this is the second record we created for which we want to predict if it's going to be a no show or show. Okay, similarly we'll create a new one here. And let's say the patient ID is going to be 234 5550. That's the patient ID, and we're not putting any of these. If you want to do it, you can. Gender is male. Okay, and then no show, nothing. We have to predict that. Okay, and the appointment date is going to be today because this is when we booked it. And for which appointment? Let's say 27th. And what time? Let's say 1:45. So this is the third record we have created for which we want to predict show or no show. Similarly, we'll go ahead and create a new one here. So now the data setup is almost done. Okay, so we have appointment date is for today, and gender is female, and then we have no show, we are not putting it. Patient ID is 234 5553. That's the patient ID, and you can say select one of these. And the schedule date for the appointment is 29th. At what time? Let's say we do 1:15. This is the third record we have created. So try to create about 10 records more, and for which you're not putting the value of no show. That is what we are going to be predicting. We're predicting if this patient is going to show up for his appointment or not. I have created 3 records so far. I'm going to create 10 more records where I will not put the value of no show, and these are the 10 records for which I will be predicting the probability of show or no show using my Einstein prediction builder. Okay, so pause this video, create 10 more records, or at least total of 10 records more where the no show is not given. Okay, so I'm going to see you in the next video where we are actually going to be starting with our first prediction using the Einstein prediction builder. So I'll see you then. But before you go to the next lecture, make sure you have 10 new records added along with the data import that we did. Okay, thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the day.